All the talk all year round, and pretty much last year as well, the NFC East. But guess what? There is one other division in football that doesn't have a team with a losing record, and it's the NFC South. We're going to give it the respect it deserves. Jason Horowitz, Ian Eagle, glad to be with you on the Endzone presented by Sony. And nobody talks about the NFC South, but you've got a 4-2 team in Carolina, a 4-2 team in Tampa Bay, a 4-2 Atlanta team, which I bet if you ask 50% of football fans, they wouldn't know Atlanta was 4-2. And maybe the best team in the division is New Orleans, and they're 3-3 without Marcus Colston and without Jeremy Shockey, and Drew Brees maybe the MVP in the league. This is a good division.
I can't say they're the best division in the NFL. What I can say, at least through the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, they're the most entertaining division.
Absolutely.
Because you see a lot of late drama in these games, last-second victories, and surprises. Let's face it, you want to start with Atlanta? I had Atlanta winning 4 games this year. They've won 4 already. They're 4-2. They've got a rookie head coach. They've got a rookie quarterback. They've got a rookie left tackle. They've got a rookie middle linebacker, and they're winning. They're finding ways. Matt Ryan last week, it went a long way in already cementing that pick as a success. The Falcons needed some injection of life, of optimism, coming off the Michael Vick situation. The Falcons completely stripped their team away, and not only Michael Vick, the Bobby Petrino situation as well, because the Falcons had become a laughingstock in the National Football League. Arthur Blank, their owner, he cares. He cares. That's the one thing, and as a fan of any team, that's what you want more than anything else. You want an owner that when he goes to bed at night, he's staring up at the ceiling, thinking about how can he get his team to the next level. I think Arthur Blank is that kind of guy, and to do it this quickly, I'm not saying that this is a 9-10 win team, but at least, Jason, there is respectability now with the Falcons.
He's building that team like Home Depot. From the ground up, wood by wood, you're doing it on the line. They're protecting Matt Ryan of late. He picked apart the Chicago Bears. But the team that has impressed me the most, and the team that I think had the most to prove after last year, Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
You're talking about a team that you got a head coach that has been on the hot seat for the last couple of years, John Fox, even though he took them to the Super Bowl. But look, that was 5 years ago. This is now. You've got a team that lost its quarterback last year. He was coming off surgery. You weren't sure what you were going to get. They have proven. They weathered 2 games, the first 2 games of the year, without Steve Smith, their best offensive weapon, and they won both of those games coming back against the Chargers and against the Bears. This team has proven that it is one of the best teams in the NFC.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, and I think there are a couple of reasons why. First of all, Jake DeLHOMME is healthy, first and foremost. He's a big difference maker for them. He's not considered an elite quarterback in the NFL, but you know what? He's effective. You know what you get with DeLHOMME. They've got the 2-headed running attack right now with Williams and Stewart. And I think as the season goes on, you're going to see them really benefit from having options within the same game. If one doesn't have it on a given day, the other can step forward and get it done. And look, Steve Smith, we know what happened in the preseason and training camp with the fight with his own teammate. I think he learned from that. I think his team also recognized that that was a very big moment for this franchise, because the way everybody viewed it was they've got a lot of problems within that locker room. They've shown that that was not an issue. It was an isolated incident, and I think the Carolina Panthers are, for real, they stubbed their toe last week.
I was just going to say, now having said all of that, they got hammered at Tampa Bay, which is the other team, but you know, Tampa Bay gets ignored around the NFL.
They were a playoff team last year, Tampa Bay. People forget about that.
They were a playoff team. They benched Jeff Garcia, who led them to the playoffs last year. It's not like they lost to some schlub. They lost to the Super Bowl champs, the Giants. Yes, it was at home, but guess what? Jeff Garcia's back, and he proved last week that he is the quarterback for this team. But you get to New Orleans, and you talk about quarterbacks. Drew Brees, he is on pace to break Dan Marino's records from 1984 in that season when Marino threw for over 5,000 yards. The only quarterback
he's the NFL MVP.
Absolutely.
Jason, right now, he's
doing
the NFL
it without
MVP.
His best receiver. And last week he did it without his 2 best receivers. 3, actually, because David Patton didn't play last week either. So he is doing it, and Reggie Bush is having the season that they needed him to have. This is the guy that you drafted with the number 2 pick. You've been waiting for him to come around.
Yep.
He's doing it this year. Not just running the ball, because he hasn't been doing that. Out of the backfield like what people have asked him to do, but on special teams, that's where he's doing it.
Well, I think Sean Payton has finally found the niche for Reggie Bush. We knew how talented Bush was individually coming into the NFL out of USC, an electrifying talent. But the idea that he was going to be an every down back was misguided. He's not. He's still a specialty player, but not the kind that you only have touch the ball 4 or 5 times. You've got to be creative, and I think Sean Payton has really found the formula to get Reggie Bush on the field as often as possible and put him in a position, get him out in space to go and make some plays. He's had a tremendous season. He's breaking through as a receiver. We know that. I think he's already set the NFL record in terms of catches for a running back through X number of games to start his career. And it's probably a record that'll never be broken because you're probably not going to see another player like Reggie Bush come down the pike for quite some time. New Orleans, their issue, Jason, is going to be defensively.
Yep, absolutely.
They show up every now and then. They don't show up every single week. They're allowing 22 points per game. They should be better than that.
That's a little skewed, though, because they only gave up 3 to Oakland.
So that lowered the number.
That was much worse because they gave up the week before at 30 to Minnesota. So that's got to become more consistent. I picked New Orleans to go to the Super Bowl before the season. I still think they can get there once they get healthy because, look, defensively they haven't been healthy either. That's a different story because midseason, at least I do. I like to change my picks. I think that's fair. We don't want you to change your picks. Your picks are usually
I'm
right
sticking
on,
with my picks. And my pick, by the way, was Carolina before the season started.
Yes.
We can check that on some previous Endzone installments. I'm sticking with Carolina.
All right, we'll see how it goes, folks. Of course, these teams don't really have the drama that the Cowboys do. Be sure to check that out on the Endzone and the Game of the Week, Indianapolis at Green Bay. It's all in the Endzone, presented by Sony. For Ian Eagle, I'm Jason, the Pick Swapper Horowitz. Take care.